بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سعادة الدكتور عبد الرحمن العور، مدير عام الهيئة الاتحادية للموارد البشرية الحكومية، أصحاب السعادة، السادة الكرام، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. يسعدنا أن نرحب بكم اليوم في ملتقى نادي الموارد البشرية الأول لهذا العام بعنوان التفكير الاستشرافي. تعقد ملتقيات النادي برعاية حصرية من مصرف الإمارات الإسلامي وبرعاية معرفية من مجمع دبي للمعرفة. كما أن نادي الموارد البشرية يعد إحدى المبادرات التي أطلقت في الاجتماعات السنوية الحكومية لدولة الإمارات لتمكين الموارد البشرية، حيث سيتم إطلاق فروع لملتقيات النادي بالتعاون مع الحكومات المحلية لدعم المشروعات والبحوث. نستضيف اليوم السيد طارق قريشي، هو المؤسس والرئيس التنفيذي لمؤسسة ماد توكس التي تعد منصة لجمع وعرض المقارنات والدراسات لملامح المستقبل للقيادة والإبداع والابتكار وريادة الأعمال. السيد طارق قريشي حاصل على درجة الماجستير في الاقتصاد من جامعة هارفارد، وله خبرة واسعة في المجال الإعلامي وكمتحدث ملهم في المؤتمرات العالمية. And now please join me in welcoming Mr. Tariq.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. We have two questions only, very, very simple questions. Question number one, once you got there, is what is more important? Is it mathematics and science, or anthropology, zoology, sociology, psychology? We've got to start, we've got a feel for the first one. It seems that the audience here thinks that anthropology, sociology, and psychology is more important than maths and science. This is very good. This is very good news. The second question, what's more important, data or oil? So 85% of people believe that data is more important than oil. In a nation which is an oil-based country, is diversifying very, very quickly, but the basics are still oil. So it's a very, very interesting, both the points. I find it amazing and pleasantly surprising of the results we start with. Ladies and gentlemen, today is going to be an active engagement with you. So please allow me to have lots of fun. Please enjoy and relax. See it like a show, like a movie, and we'll make it a lot of fun. There'll be music, there'll be videos, there'll be a lot of work that we will do together. The first thing today is about 10x thinking. Today is about our brain. Today is about our memory. Today is about the way we can project ourselves in the future. How do we see moonshots? And today is about humanity and heart. Technology will be there, but humanity will actually succeed, and that's what we'll talk about. So over the last 10,000 years, there have been various revolutions, and the revolutions of the mind and how thinking has changed, because you are HR professionals. You are working and looking after over 100,000 people. And these are some of the most important things you will be looking at in terms of which age that we are in. So 10,000 years ago, we were an agrarian economy. We used to grow stuff. Then, by 1750, we discovered the Industrial Revolution. We discovered the machine and the steam engine and so on. And that is where things started changing. It lasted about 200 years, till about 1950. And in 1950, we started getting into the industrial and into the information age. Computers were born, software was being created, and so on. The next stage got into the knowledge age, where everybody started pulling together all their knowledge. What age do you think we are in today? I'll be moving and connecting with you. What age do you think we are in today? Any idea? Artificial intelligence, you're half right. Yes, ma'am? Digital age, possibly. Sir? Big data. All of those are correct. Actually, sorry? Information's already happened. It's over. That's history. That was in the 1990s. Mr. Abdurrahman got it half right. It's actually the age of intelligence, not artificial intelligence. I'm going to request you to close your eyes for about 10 seconds, and I'm going to throw a word at you. When I throw that word, just close your eyes and just think about that word. Just that word and the connections and the associations of that word. Okay? So please play with us. Please close your eyes now. Eyes closed. And the word is banana. Think of a banana. Think of Mosa. Okay, please open your eyes. Any suggestions? What did you see, sir?
He actually confused me.
Monkeys? You saw monkeys. What did you see, madam?
Hungry.
You're hungry. You just had breakfast. Come on. You can't be hungry yet. What did you see? Yes, form of bananas. Anybody else? Banana? Fracas. Oh my God, everybody's hungry here. Did somebody see health and nutrition? This lady saw health. So did anyone in this room saw a little computer printout coming from your head reading B-A-N-A-N-A? Nobody. Because that's not how our brain works. Our brain works in color and our brain works in images. And we think in black and white and through linear thinking. So this is what we think about when we think of bananas. So what happens is that in the way our brain actually works, you put something in the center as an idea, as a story, as a concept, and it reaches out. So you thought of potassium, you thought of health, you thought of funny, you thought of banana splits, you thought of monkeys. This is how our brain works. So you give a central idea to the brain and explodes from the middle. And how are we taught? We are taught to write like this in a linear fashion. But our brain works like that. There was a study done in NASA where on the one axis you had creativity and on the other axis you had age. And they felt that we want to define whether creativity becomes higher or lower as we grow older. So do you think creativity goes down as we grow older? Yes? No? Okay. So this test, over 3,000 people in this test. So they had this little kid, a cute little girl playing with colors and so on. Do you think her creativity is high, medium, or low? High? Very high? High. Well, most people say high. Actually, it's very high. It's 95%. So her creative processes, curiosity, ability to engage, to learn new things, to try out new things, is very high. Then guess what happens? How many people in this room are parents? Are fathers or mothers? Most people. Now, guess what you do? You work in your job and you earn money. Why? Because you want to send your kids to school. They are so creative and you send them to school. What happens then? Creativity goes down. Then you work extra hard, you earn extra money, and you send them to college. You've seen my presentation. Now, you want to send them to the best college in the world, and guess what happens to their creativity? Goes down further, because we are trained in a non-creative manner. We are trained in an industrial age thinking, because I'm building you up for what is 10x thinking. Because you cannot go to 10x thinking if I don't explain what is zero-based thinking today. So 25% now, which are the smart people in the world who realize that office at college, university is boring, and they left? Smart people who left university: Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk. You name them, they left. Why did they leave? Because they were bored. Keep talking about the brain. Now we're getting closer to artificial intelligence. What do you think that is? Does everybody recognize this? IBM Watson. It is an artificial intelligence cognitive computer that about 3 to 4 years ago defeated all other competitors in the game Jeopardy. Now it's done chess and Go and everything else. The artificial intelligence cognitive computer is now beating human beings. Now, this is really important. 25 years ago, we invented the internet. And one of the things the internet did, it's commoditized and democratized, available for everyone, knowledge and information. That was the start of the information age. So I'm a Harvard graduate. 85% of my curriculum is available online, free of charge. Plus the top 200 schools. It's all available. So therefore, knowledge is now free. Ability to get that knowledge is free. So what the internet did is change the world by making knowledge free. Okay? Now, IBM Watson and artificial intelligence machines are doing something far scarier. What they are doing, and this as HR professionals is really important to you, what they are doing is commoditizing expertise, and I'll explain that. If you're a doctor today, you're that important. And if you're a nurse or a caregiver, you are here. Over the next 10 years, all the information will go into tricorders, into technology, into robots, into machine learning, and the importance of the doctor keeps going down because you don't really need the doctor anymore to do your diagnosis. And the nurse becomes more and more important. Why is she more important? Because the human connection. Because she said, how are you feeling, sir? What would you like, madam? Do you want your family to come? The doctor is just giving the diagnosis. So if you are an oncologist today and a nurse here, you're there. In 10 years' time, you're like this. If you're an actuary, you're there. And if you're an insurance agent, you're here, it goes up the same way. If you are a professor's probably okay. But if you're an academic regulator, you're here. But if you're a teacher, you're down here. The teachers will go up. We need to build, as we go forward in the future, our social intelligences. Smarter people are trying to do this. They're trying to put a chip in our brain. That is also not very far away. So basically, we are going to be doing that to ourselves and get ourselves some extra brain power. So one other element, and then we'll talk a little bit about reality and technology. Over the last 50, 60 years, we have put Intel inside everything that we do, inside a computer, inside our phones, inside every single thing. We're just putting technology, technology, technology inside it. And everything is being recognized through technology and so on. What we actually need to do is to put heart inside, humanity inside, love inside, into all of the work that we are doing. I know it sounds really soft and fluffy and boring, but please, this is really the way forward. This is the future. And your responsibility as HR professional, as human leaders, as people leaders, as people who are empowering groups of young and older people, is how to navigate these 10 years. Between now to about 2025 is where so much change and shift is going to happen. Things are going to be in flux. Your policy manuals are going to be thrown out of the window because new things come in. I was talking to the head of DIFC courts, and he came up with a phrase which was very interesting. And I thought it was very, very important. He said they have set up a future courts concept there where new things that are coming in are considered pre-legal. They're not illegal, but they're not legal yet. They are pre-legal. You know what that means? It basically means that 3D printing in construction, is it legal? Don't know. Is it illegal? No, because the building outside Emirates Towers, the Prime Minister's, His Excellency's office, is actually a 3D printed building. There are no laws around it. So you as professionals, when you're writing policies and laws and saying, is it sort of legal yet to be in this artificial intelligence environment or in this genome sequence environment or health environment, is this ethical or not? These are all pre-legal issues. They're not clear yet. And your responsibility as you transform yourself into the future is to be able to look at that. We need to project ourselves in the future. So the 10x thinking, utilization of our brain, and utilization of technology to serve us is really where we are today. Where we are entering now is the new world of data, where data is becoming the new oil, and our brain and our thinking is the new gas, is the new petrol, which will drive things. But trust and empathy is the currency of the future. Very careful to understand that, ladies and gentlemen. It is so important to understand that humanity is going to be dealing with trust rather than just data. And that's how we're going to. So, next topic was moonshot thinking. Does anyone know moonshot thinking? Moonshot thinking was when Kennedy in 1961 said, we will go to the moon and we will create things and a rocket that is bigger than ever produced before, and we don't know how we're going to do it. So a moonshot is something that you aim for the sky, but you don't know how to do it. So you take a big problem, you throw a big solution at it, and use science and technology, and that's what moonshots are. So 10x thinking is utilizing that, because this is how it started to design going to the moon, literally on a whiteboard, blackboard. And that was Apollo 11, and it used enough, only as much as a cell phone, iPhone, or that's the amount of energy that it used to get to the moon and back. So that's the kind of completely crazy thinking that we need as we go forward. And when 10% growth is really very yesterday, it will not survive. So we need to be able to look at a completely different way of thinking. When you think about a problem, any kind of a problem, like let's say end of oil, that's such a big problem when you say, I will now live without oil, and then I want to find a solution. That's a very different way to say, I want to reduce this by 10%, dependence on oil. And that's what moonshot thinking is. Here's a moonshot. What do you think that is? It's 1 million young children in Thailand meditating for peace. Just because one teacher said, I think we don't have enough peace in the world, let's get all the kids together and do it. Crazy, but she did that. What do you think that is? That's a political moonshot. He said, I am a TV star, and I'm still going to become one. We need to think what our moonshots are. And while we're thinking about what our moonshots are, this is one of the moonshots that is happening in front of our lives. I came here 28 years ago, just graduated. My first job was in Dubai, and I lived in one of the buildings here on this side here. And I remember that very, very distinctly to this day. And right in front of my eyes, this thing is happening. This is a moonshot. Nobody could ever imagine this. Nobody could ever think about this. This is a moonshot. It's happening in Abu Dhabi. Go on the Corniche. I remember my first trip was to go to the old Adia building. And the whole thing has changed. These are moonshots. And this is how the whole thing comes in. That this thing is really completely changing. And the future of jobs is going to be like this. I want to buy one of these as soon as it's available, because everything is getting done. Robots are basically taking our jobs. And this is Amazon. The only thing missing here is people. Last thing, who's in control? Robots or us? And I think this is where we need to do this. And that's why it was important that we look at this. What should not be digitized? And you as HR professionals, you're in this control environment where these things, trust, ethics, context, purpose, meaning, these cannot be given to robots. These need to be kept by ourselves. So this basically is where the future of work is going and how we need to do. So the future of work is anything that can be digitized will, and anything that cannot be digitized will be 100 times more valuable. Love and empathy, intuition, harmony, caring, relationships, and so on. And that is the future. So who's in control? This is a friend of mine. She's a horse rider, and she said, I understand exactly what you're saying. My horse is 10 times bigger than me and 50 times stronger than me, but I control it. And that is how we need to control technology. That is how we need to control our jobs. And that is how we need to control our future. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Okay, so, is that working? Okay, since you're talking about like schools, creativity, so where do we get our sources from? If schools, universities, and all of that is not our, like, the dependent source, where do you get the source, like, where we can, like, get the base to start?
Okay. The way we need to understand our brain and our thinking, and then go back into the education system and completely change it. Because our education system was designed 200 years ago, or 100 years ago, and it's still stuck, and it needs to get into the future. There's a university called Singularity University, and they are in the United States. And they are not allowed to be called university because they are talking about the future. And it's actually quite interesting because their curriculum changes every 3 months because new things come. Therefore, the curriculum changes. It takes 2 years to get the curriculum approved. And by the time it's approved, the curriculum has changed 5 times. Therefore, they cannot be accredited as a university. They're called an institute, as an example.
I think that's it. That's a wrap. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and thank you, Tariq, for that. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, sir.